Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Chris, and welcome back to, once again, another episode of the Big Brother Podcast with my good friend, Gocubs 711.
Do you think giraffes get a lot of neck pain?
Yeah, probably. That's a
That
lot.
wasn't what I was going to say, but I forgot in the 3 minutes.
That was the... They have a lot of neck.
I was actually going to say, so that was fresh. That was brand new. Freshly grown, hand-picked, whatever the fuck that was.
Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Let's take a swig of combos before we kept going. So, welcome back.
Nice.
We are back from 2 weeks hiatus, getting back into the groove at school and all. So
yeah,
it's been tough. And it was also my birthday weekend back last weekend. No one's gonna interrupt that. Okay.
Birth.
Yay, birth.
Football birth.
And yeah, so there was a lot that's happened. 3 people have been evicted since we've last did a podcast. So
yeah,
we
kind of
we kind of fell behind. So let's go all the way back to the chicken wire have household. And it was a fun have household to watch. My favorite part was where James...
It's fucking brutal.
when James couldn't get a single letter for the longest time.
Yeah.
And then once he finally did, he was just like, yeah, I'm done, and just gave up.
Yeah. The challenge was like they've done that challenge in the past, obviously, but with the addition of having to roll it down a ramp into the HOH letters, but also a fucking chicken landing on the top of the wire, hurting your fingers
The
like
eagle,
that.
Yeah.
Eagle. I don't care. It's chickens.
Eagles, same thing. They're all dumbass birds.
Fucking birds.
But yeah, I enjoyed the added difficulty of it. The most frustrating part about watching it online was how it would roll and it would actually hit the letter, but the letter would not knock over.
Yeah.
It would just land there, and it would be like oof, and it didn't move the letter. It was so frustrating, and it was more frustrating for the eyes, or it was more frustrating for the house than it was for people that were watching. But it was brutal to watch at times. It was just like, all right, let's get on with it. Someone knock over the last letter. Yeah. So Victor came away with the victory, and it was a big victory for him.
Man, Victor.
Because he is a competition beast. So it's surreal that he's won his yet another have household, but it is now time to focus on who you want to target next. Victor promised Nicole and Corey that because they had his back last week, he's going to have their back this week. And they said, you know what, we're just going to nominate Natalie and James. And that is what happened. Natalie and James went up on the block. Now, what proceeded to unfold essentially over the course of the week was just the breakdown of the James and Natalie relationship.
I didn't fully understand what was going on.
I don't think I do either, to be honest with you. I think what happened was Natalie went up before the veto even happened. And she went in and she went to Paul and Victor and was basically like, you know, I trusted the wrong people. I went with James, and I guess she just said I regretted it. But the way that she said it, I think what she meant was that she trusted the wrong people, meaning Nicole and Corey, and then she went with James because that's what James wanted to do. But the way that Paul and Victor took it, and the way that it definitely seemed with the way that she worded it, was I trusted the wrong people, including James, essentially.
Right, yeah.
And that's what kind of set in motion, you know, Natalie being upset about being on the block, even though she repeatedly said that she didn't really care. I think James too, but they were both miserable. And James, what ended up happening was that it was just a downward spiral, because then they got to the veto competition. And it was MacGyver themed, and it was a fun competition. Would you like to
It was.
explain?
It's actually a really good competition.
Would you like to explain what it generally was about?
All right, so they basically had to MacGyver their way through 3 rooms, different puzzles. It was hilarious. Some of the solutions that some of them were trying to do, particularly Paul.
Yeah, because
with the pipes.
Essentially, like the first one, if I remember, it was that they had to like do something with like shapes or stuff, and then they had to get access to like a suit, like going down the ladder, and then crawling into a new room, and then they had to crawl into a new room where they had to get a key that was stuck in the sewers. And that what they had to do was fill the sewers with water, had to have the key rise so they could use like a hook to get it. And then that key would open up like a pathway to the last puzzle, which was basically tossing like these I don't know, I guess whatever they were.
They were painted dog toys.
Okay.
I have a dog toy for my dog that looks exactly like that.
Okay.
So
there you go, painted dog toys. So the dog toys, they have to fling them into like this fire pit. They get one in or a few in. I don't know how many it was. I think it was one. But if they got one in, then that would be the end of the challenge, and their time would be clocked. It was very fun, especially when at the ending, the way they edited it to show like how like the building would explode. It reminded me a lot of MacGruber. It was that really was many of them. I think only a few of them were really the MacGyver. But at the end, I think Corey.
The only 2 people that finished were Natalie and Corey.
Like
Natalie started setting a really impressive time, and then no one else could beat it until Corey came along,
and Corey beat it. So Corey won the veto, and it basically solidified Natalie and James' fate, because if Corey took someone down, Nicole would go up, and that would just be like game suicide. So James and Natalie go up. They are now remaining on the block, and I wish I could remember what happened or when it happened. But yeah, so the veto was not used, and I think what happened after that was that Paul and Victor decided, because they wanted to get close with James, and Corey and Nicole were trying to get close with James too, just in case, James wins HOH, which couple would he target type thing. So, Paul and Victor thought, in order to get close to him, we need to tell him the truth about Natalie. And so they got James up there, and they told him, your girl threw you under the bus, essentially. And they said verbatim, basically, what she said to them. But again, I think it was just misperceived.
Yeah, definitely.
But and James took it to heart, and it really hurt him. And then while in the London room, James decided to call Natalie out, and was just like, your strategy all along has been trying to flirt with people. You flirted with Victor, and that didn't work. You tried to flirt with Corey, that didn't work. You tried to sleep in the bed with Polly, that didn't work. And then you did it to me, and that ended up working to your advantage. But I see who you truly are. And Natalie got really rattled by that, because she was just like, "Are you kidding me? Like, I didn't do that. I absolutely did not do that." And by the way, this whole week, this was kind of like a tipping point, because this entire week, Natalie has just been constantly complaining how they should have never trusted Nicole and Corey, and kind of putting blame on James, even if it was meant to be indirectly, kind of making him feel like shit for making the move that he did. So it was a tipping point for James to kind of finally let out all of his emotions, and just he absolutely just had to go to town again, and just completely hurt her. And it was unfortunate, because I think a lot of people, it was really refreshing during this season to see a couple that was so, I don't want to say weird, because I feel like that would be offensive, but unlike the usual norms that we have on Big Brother, where you have the 2 hot people come together and that are dating each other in the house. This is a really beautiful girl, and like this country boy that is from that is not like the one of the more attractive guys in the house. That's not calling him ugly. I'm just saying that he and he's also much older, I believe, than Natalie. It was such a weird couple, and it was kind of refreshing because they were just adorable together. And so it was really sad to kind of see it all fall apart all of a sudden. And so before the eviction ceremony, though, Natalie and James, they made up, and I don't know if they're going to have a relationship outside the house. They may or may not. I think James is hoping for it. I don't know about Natalie, but and it was a tough thing to watch, but it had to be done. Now, we talked. I don't know if we ever talked about the jury house. Did we talk? I forget if we did talk about the jury house at some point.
Somewhat.
Yeah. Well, there were fights that happened there, and then when Michelle came in, I feel like was there anything that started that I'm forgetting? I'm trying to think.
I don't remember from that one. I usually just skipped over it.
Okay, it's irrelevant to what happens later, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So,
but Wednesday was something we should talk about.
That is absolutely something we should talk about. It's fun. So at the end of the day, Natalie did go home. So rest in peace, Natalie. And she is going to the jury house, and now we are down to the final 5. And the first couple to be hit was the Jadali couple. So now who's next? Well, we get to an HOH competition, and it's a very slippery competition, if I may say so myself. Gocubs, take it away.
All right. So there's a lot of butter, and the production was just we need as much butter as possible, and then that was half of production, and then the other half of production went why the fuck do you need all this butter? And then the first half of the production went, well, originally thinking that they were just going to use the butter, was oh wait, we spent our challenge budget on this, we better make a challenge out of it.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
Dude, Butterman Steve and his posse.
What? Oh my god. Well,
they weren't paying attention, and he just spent the challenge budget on butter.
All this butter. Yeah,
so
it was originally supposed to be ice, but they went with butter.
They had to carry butter from one end of this field to another, and the field thing was covered in butter, and they were all slippy, sliding. There was a smaller container that they could have filled up and got in a bigger scooper, but in the end, the one guy that didn't go for the bigger scooper ended up winning. Corey
ended up doing it.
It's really weird, because Corey barely fell, and he is a tall person, and you'd think with long legs like that,
yeah,
be more susceptible to slipping.
To me, it was a disappointing challenge in the sense that I thought it would be a lot more closer, and they definitely portrayed it as a lot more closer on television, but Corey ran away with the thing. James and Paul practically gave up halfway through, and it was between Nicole and Corey. At that point, you kind of were just alright, I don't need to watch this anymore. I know what happens.
Right.
So they ended up winning.
Also, Paul resorted to sliding on his butt,
which was fantastic strategy, by the way. That's why I would do that from the beginning.
Yeah, honestly, there's we should mention that there's a slight incline.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not just sliding on his butt and trying to scoot himself. He's sliding down a hill.
Yeah. It was that kind of challenge would be fun to me, but it absolutely would wreck your body at the same time, considering how many times you probably fall. But yeah, so I you would think at this point you would say, all right, you want to get rid of James next. I don't know about that. I don't know if James is a real big threat, and luckily Corey and Nicole are actually smart, and they were all right, we have to turn on Victor and Paul.
We have this really strong duo right here.
Yeah, this is the strongest duo in the house right now. We need to knock them off the pedestal.
Yeah.
And we're gonna target Victor, and if Victor comes off, we get Paul. And then they had to talk to James because they didn't want James to, if he won the veto, to take either Paul or Victor off, because that would throw Nicole on the block, and that would practically send her home at that point. So they had to talk to James, and James was like, yeah, cool, I'm down with you guys, I'm down with working with you guys. And Corey and James they've been best buds for a while now, so it only makes sense that the three of them got together to get out the tough duo. So Victor and Paul get put up, and they're not happy about it. And I watching this, and the reaction from my mom when we were watching this was, why were they acting so offended by what just happened? Because this is the game, and they are. This was like, you can't trust any final deal that is made in this game. So why are you so shocked and like freaking out? I argue the fact that it was editing that kind of made them act that way, and the DR kind of feeds them stuff to act angry. But at the same time, it is true. I mean, I think that Victor and Paul, first of all, give them all the credit in the world, not only for being great players, but the fact that they knew nothing going into this game, and they were able to pull off like this, like be at where they are in this game, and be like one of the most powerful duos in this game, not knowing anything going into Big Brother. I think that's really impressive.
It's also impressive because they were literally on the bottom
of the house
this week.
And Victor got evicted twice and came back.
And Victor got evicted twice.
And got brought back twice.
Yeah.
But this is why I feel like I get so sick of the people that keep on saying, "Oh, I hate recruits. I hate recruits." I hate recruits if all they care about is they don't play the game ever.
Right.
I don't mind recruits if they go in there and, yeah, maybe at first they don't know how to play the game, but if they grow into a player, if they grow into being a manipulator, having a great social game, playing games, winning those competitions, that's awesome.
Victor did extremely well,
and I think that's why I'm still an advocate for being like, I don't mind if someone goes into that competition completely blind. I do not mind it. I do not mind if they don't know what Big Brother is a year before actually going into the house. I don't mind that, and I will stick by that, especially after what I've seen this season. So, yeah. With all that being said, I do think that Victor and Paul played with a lot of emotions, and I think the emotions got the best of them at times. And I think that there's times where it's okay to be emotional about something, but then there's times where you have to realize that this is the game that you're playing. You have to suck it up, you have to. And I think that's a hard lesson for both Victor and Paul to realize. Luckily, they don't have to deal with that much for much longer. So we'll see. But Victor and Paul, they're both on the block, but one of them has to go out and win this veto. This veto is a BB classic. Go Cubs, and it's you.
All right, so this veto for the third in a row.
Yeah, I would say third.
Just the third time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for the third time, it's the comic book challenge. Basically, what they have to do is they have to zip line down, look at a bunch of different comics with all of the house guests dressed as different superheroes, and then they have to look. They have like duplicates of everyone are actually in the picture, and which ones are like the wrong ones, and whoever does it the fastest wins.
Yeah, it's a complicated challenge, but it's always fun to watch. I do have an interesting story to note here. So Nicole ended up winning this challenge, and it was kind of a bummer for both Victor and Paul. Victor actually did pretty poorly at it, and Paul, I think, was like the second closest to Nicole. but neither of them won, and Nicole won it. Interesting note about this challenge, though, Nicole's zip line got stuck at one point.
Really?
So, a lot of speculation came out is that if that helped her win, if the zip line stops while she's in front of the comics. I personally, I don't know. I'm not gonna speculate too much, but I think that I think that's interesting that she said that. It was just like, oh, wait a minute. So, hopefully that was not the case.
I doubt it.
Yeah, but it was interesting. It was always a fun challenge because you had Big Meech, the baby, comic book. And actually, you know what? That was really the only one that was really stood out. All the
Bridget was like Cabbage Patch then. I actually didn't watch that challenge.
Oh, you just fast forward through it?
No, I had work like during the first half, but I still wanted to watch the rest live because I knew a lot was going to happen. So
yeah, sorry.
I'll know right away who says it.
Yeah, spoilers. But yeah, so that was a fun challenge, but oh, another one was the Frank's Ooty Booty. That was kind of offensive. With the whole smack ass thing. I also thought Tiffany's was kind of like sexist in a way. Because it was just like hers was like oh, super emotional, can't control her emotions, superhero, whatever it was.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, I get it. I get that was her as a character, but I could see where some people might get offended by that.
Yeah, I get it.
So yeah, not a lot of action during that, but yes, Nicole won it. So now we come to the point where it's like, what does Paul and Victor do at this point? What are they gonna? Are they gonna try to convince Nicole to use the veto somehow, get James on the block? I don't think that even really came into question. I think what they just did was just go right to the veto ceremony, and Nicole was just like, "Yeah, fuck you guys," and
basically.
Victor and Paul remained on the block, and that was the end of a great duo. So then, I believe Nicole voted, and James voted, and Victor was evicted 2-0, and he's finally out of the house
for the third fucking time.
Third time's a charm.
There's never been a chance for that to happen before.
Yep. I was.
I don't know, it was really cool. Like if Victor made it to the final two, he deserved to win.
I think so too. And I know a lot of people will argue like, oh well, he was not there the entire summer, but he battled his way back. Won 3 HOHs, and made some really big. He made the biggest move. He didn't care. That was the great thing about him and Paul's gameplay is that they both didn't care. They didn't care about the scariness of putting up a threat. They were just like, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, and no matter what. I think Victor definitely had like the biggest balls to do it, but I think Paul also too was just like, I gotta do what I gotta do. So
I had a lot of fun watching them. Yeah.
So Victor goes down as a BB favorite in my opinion. I endorse him to be America's favorite player personally, because I think he's a good guy, and I think that after everything that he's done, I think he deserves some sort of prize money. So that's just me. You guys can do whatever you want. I'm endorsing him. So, anyways, we get to the final four, and now Paul needs to win this HOH, because that will be his only way at this point. I think the rest of them would be gunning for him, so he needs to win this HOH. What is this HOH that is about to happen?
This HOH is they play a tape video of house guests. They bleep out a statement, and then Julie says what the statement could be, and then you have to say true or false.
Yep.
And James really bad.
Yes, James really. He's just become that token bad competition player.
James got one wrong about Natalie directed towards him. That's how bad he was.
Yes, I remember that. Oh my god, that was so funny. I couldn't believe that. I was just like, are you kidding me,
Yeah.
guys? Um,
But
yeah,
Paul and Nicole actually ended up tying before they ran out of questions.
yeah.
So they went to that numbers tiebreaker, and Paul won the tiebreaker.
Paul won, and I gotta say that challenge was filled with innuendos. I loved it, but
Oh yeah.
Paul, I was so happy because I felt like that. Even if I wasn't necessarily rooting for Paul, that was a great way to once again flip the tables and have a change in power yet again during a Final Four, which I feel like in the past we haven't seen a lot of.
Yeah.
I
It's
feel
just
like
been kind of like, okay, it's Final Five. We have these three people. They get the other two that they need to get out.
yeah, like I feel like we had like a complete power shift with Paul taking the power. He was very emotional afterwards because he was so excited to have gone this far, gone to the Final Three.
The fact that he was on the bottom, like he was on the block next to Jose.
Yeah, he won. He won that first veto too.
He did win that first veto, which is also is a testification to how.
You're okay.
You can tell where I'm going with this, but
Yeah.
like not now and then like winning that last challenge and guaranteeing him a spot in the final three. Like Paul is honestly probably my favorite Big Brother contestant.
Wow, that's awesome. I think with Paul, here's my thing with Paul. I really love him. I do, and I think that there has been. I think the problem that I feel like at times I think that he might go too far with things. I still remember that night with Bridget and how like he kind of berated her and made her feel like shit for no reason, and so that kind of left an uneasy feeling with me. But I feel like he's kind of redeemed himself since then. I think that he is all around a really good guy and a really fun guy. He's a mushroom. Sorry. But he, to me, I'm so glad that I picked him. Because I did feel when I picked him as my winner, I said that I feel like he can be this kind of underdog that all of a sudden could come out and be a winner, be like a great contestant and ends up winning this game. And to me, I feel like Paul has earned that. I feel like even if he doesn't win, I feel like he earns that right to be considered maybe not one of the best Big Brother players of all time, but definitely up there as someone who played the game the right way.
Right.
And so I have a lot of respect for him. I love him as a character on the show, and he was been so much fun to watch all summer. So that's my take on him. I'm so glad that he got that HOH. So now revenge comes in, and now he puts right on up Corey and Nicole. So Corey and Nicole go up on the block. But it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter because the best veto challenge, I don't know why, I love the Final Four veto challenge just because of how much is at stake.
It is the highest stakes of the season.
And they usually always choose one that, like, you need concentration for.
It is, to me, the power of veto is, like, I'm so happy that the power of veto is part of this game. Of this part of Big Brother, because I feel like it really adds this other element of, you can't just win HOH and expect everything to go just your way. You have to worry about it, and the biggest time that the power of veto is in the spotlight is obviously right here at the end. And that's why I absolutely love these kind of power veto challenges. That whenever we get to the Final Four, it's always high stakes, and whoever wins it has all the power that week. So go Cubs, go right ahead. What is the power veto competition?
All right, so the veto competition is they're on a baseball diamond, fitting. Corey being the baseball player.
I said that. I was like, Corey's gonna win this.
There are numbers on home, first, second, and third that are 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then they also have a 0 there. And the goal was to, like, they would say an event in the house, and then they had to add up the numbers by running around the bases. They couldn't skip a base; they had to run around the bases and add up how many how many days that was, uh, and uh, and then you ran in a buzzer. If you were the last one to buzz in, you got an out. 3 outs and you're out. They should have called it a strike so they
Yeah, I my sister pointed that out. She was like, "What the fuck? What the fuck are they doing?"
Yeah, 3 outs and you're out.
It was ridiculous. It was really, I don't know why they did that, but whatever. So it was high stakes challenge. The first 3 strikes goes to who else? James. So James gets eliminated right out of the gate. Nicole gets eliminated soon right after that. And Corey with no strikes, I believe. I'm sorry. Corey with 2 strikes, I believe, and Paul having no strikes. And it comes down to the 2 of them. Corey ends up winning 2 in a row. Paul ends up with 2 strikes.
I'm on the edge of my fucking seat at this point.
Yeah, it comes down to this.
It's literally if Paul wins, then either Nicole or Corey go. If Corey wins, then James goes.
Yeah. So.
And I didn't want James to go.
Yeah, it was Paul and James versus Corey and Nicole at that point, and it was tough. It was close, but our man Paul comes out with the victory, another victory to put on his resume, and he has absolutely all the power this week.
Yeah.
So, then since Paul ends up keeping the nominations the same, and neither Corey and Nicole are getting ready to be evicted, James has to decide between keeping his good old buddy Corey or keeping Nicole in the house because Paul wants to get rid of Corey. And Paul and James at that point kind of forged like a final 2 because Paul was obviously in power and James had to make a deal with the power. So, James basically was going to do whatever Paul wanted to do, and Paul wanted Corey out, but James had a buddy with Corey, so he might have voted Nicole out. I didn't really know what was going to happen until the live show happened, and so James stood in front of the living room, and he said, "Corey, you are evicted from the Big Brother house, and there goes the goat slaughtering, starry-eye, take me toast that we loved, Corey."
Yep.
Rest in peace.
Is my face on the screen right now?
Your face is on the screen.
Damn
it. This was taken a few months ago, and it was in commemoration of our noticing how Corey, the blandest character of Big Brother, has become just the weirdest like editing material that Big Brother has ever found.
Yeah.
And Gocubs in an earlier podcast called Corey Toast. That he was
I call them plain white bread.
Or plain white bread, that's right. His plain white bread was the most accurate accurate comparison for Corey. And so that is why Gocubs made this photo on Snapchat with the bread filter, and it was fantastic because of the big eye filter as well. Oh my god, that is the best. So Corey's now out, and we are down to a really good final 3.
This is a really fucking solid final 3, and I wanna read something real quick to you.
Go ahead.
All 3 of the final 3 have some sort of record that they could hold to.
Okay.
If Paul wins, he will break the record for most power of veto wins by a winner.
Okay.
James has already slaughtered the previous record for most evictions survived in a season without safety from a competition. Wow. James has only ever been safe from a competition once, and that was when he was HOH.
There you go. Wow.
Previous record holder was Spencer from BB15.
Okay.
And since the power of veto has been made a standard in the show.
Yes.
Nicole is the runner-up for going furthest without getting nominated.
Wow. There you go.
The winner being Derek
Derek was, yeah.
Derek was never nominated.
Yeah, that is awesome. So there you go. That is 3 solid contestants, and I know that a lot of people say, oh, James doesn't deserve it, or Nicole doesn't deserve it, or Paul doesn't deserve it, whatever. I think all 3 have a great shot at winning on Wednesday, and I don't mind that because I like Nicole BB16, not so much this season, but that doesn't make me hate her or anything.
Right.
I always love James. I think he has the best personality out there. I think that $500,000 could do so much for him. Do I think that he played the best game this season? I don't think so, but I do think that he absolutely left his mark on Big Brother in a lot of different ways. I think that he's definitely one of the nice guys. He's the prankster, and he's willing to go back on deals. He was ruthless when he used HOH. So I've always loved James. And Paul this season, I've already ranted about Paul. I've already said what I already had said, but he was the underdog coming in, not knowing anything about Big Brother, starting out on the bottom and heading to the top. I'm so happy about this final 3.
Yeah. Like this is a good ending to my current favorite season.
Yeah. And I don't care what anyone says. This was a great season. I truly believe that it was a great season. And I think that what made it so interesting was just the constant constant flip, like changing the powers.
Yeah, no one was in power for one time. Up to the very end, power kept changing.
Yeah, and I think that is remarkable, and I think that is.
It makes it interesting.
It makes it interesting, and you don't see that a lot. And I'm so happy that we got the opportunity to actually really enjoy a Big Brother season for the first time in I feel like 3 seasons. And again, I understand the criticism of the show. I understand it. Whatever. I enjoyed it, and so did Gocubs, and that's what matters.
Watch.
Yep. So final predictions of the show. Final predictions. What we're gonna do. Over the past few weeks, we haven't been doing the predictions. We just felt like we didn't have the time for it. It was just not necessary. We pick off right where we left off, essentially, with new predictions. So what is the current point total?
All right. So the current point total, after 11 weeks of predictions, it's been more than that in the game, but just with how we are, it is Chris with 9 points. And me with 19.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's what's going to happen. If I am able to accurately predict the top 3, I would get a point for each position, not counting the winner.
You would get I'd say you would get a point for Nicole and a point for you get 1 point for second and third place, and then you get your winner bonus.
Okay, so 1 point for second and third, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Why it would be it wouldn't be 2 points for just that would make sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a chance to take the lead.
If you okay.
All right, tie it. I have a chance to tie it.
You have a chance to tie it.
Tie it. Okay. And that would be.
You have a chance to tie it, and then add in our survivor points, and you would be ahead by 2 points.
Okay. If you get this accurately, you're gonna be blowing me out of the water.
You are not. You will have to have the best fucking survivor prediction of your life.
Oh my god! All right, so for me, I said that James would get third place. I say that Paul would win HOH and he'd take Nicole, and it'd be Paul and Nicole sitting at the final 2, and I feel like Paul would be the one that gets the money because I feel like he deserves it the most. Go ahead, Gocubs. Right.
My final 3 is obviously James is getting first, Paul is getting second, and Nicole is getting third. Yeah. I think that. And also by the way, when it does come to final 3 time, since the vote will still be between 2 people, if either Paul or James get evicted, but before making it to the final 2, Nicole will automatically take their place for either of us as our winner.
Right. So,
and it'll be like third place for Chris, like third pick for Chris points, and second pick for me points.
Right.
Yeah.
Quick question.
Yes.
Let's say you accurately guess who got third, but you didn't accurately guess who got first and second.
You would get 1 point.
You would get the 1 point for third. So then
Yeah. So like if James got third, but Nicole beat Paul, you would get 1 point.
Okay. That makes sense. All right.
Oh, but I would get the winner points from Nicole.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out accurate point totals. So then next week will be our last Big Brother podcast. We'll recap the finale. Yeah, it's been a journey, and we are going to be starting up with the Survivor podcast. Hopefully that'll be up 24 hours after this goes up. So that'll be nice. So good stuff. Another Big Brother season coming close to the books. And we are going to be moving on to the fall season. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Gocubs, is there any last words, any last recommendations, anything?
Like I said, I still have no recommendations because my roommates and I are still watching Yu-Gi-Oh. We're almost done with season 3.
Almost there.
And there's still 2 more seasons. September 25th, Last Man on Earth is premiering again.
There you go.
Fantastic show. Really recommend it.
Last Man on Earth.
Watch season 1 and 2 right now, and then you'll be ready for season 3.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wish I had I wish I had shows that I could recommend, but the two that I watch and the sport that I watch are all already involved on this channel, so yep. It's all good.
Do you watch anything other than Big Brother, Survivor, and football?
No. Well, I watch like football documentaries, but that's about it.
Oh.
So, rest in peace, my life. All right. So, anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.